evidenced by inflation for July galloping to 31.7%. The CD is also on a free fall, being nothing to write home about. Youth unemployment remains frighteningly high, and inequality is equally rising. In effect, the nation is in some form of economic crisis, which definitely has some social implications. But tonight we are asking whether there are clear, discernible signs of security implications too, and what can be done about that. Joining me for this all-important conversation are former head of Human Security and three-time former Chief of Defense Staff, Brigadier General Joseph Nunu Mensah, retired. Also joining this conversation is the immediate past Deputy Defense Minister, former Chairman of Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament, Major Derek Oduro, and also we'll be joined by a security consultant, a man who has formerly been a COO of Unique Trust Holdings, Captain Budukumsen. Gentlemen, you're welcome to UPfront, but let me start with the General. General Nunu Mensah, what is your own assessment of the current economic situation and its implications? More importantly, since you have headed that office of Human Security in times past. If you can hear me, General Nunu Mensah.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. You're welcome, very much so. And I was asking you if you could tell me, when you look at what's currently happening, the economic situation.
We Ghanaians don't sit up and wake up to tackle our problems, no one's going to help us out of the deep hole we find ourselves. 2 years ago, we had COVID-19 that caused so much havoc to our economy and social life. As if that was not enough, about 6 months ago, Russia attacked Ukraine, creating further disruption to our economic life, to the extent that even the wheat that we get from Ukraine to eat bread couldn't come to us. As if that was not enough again, we are now seeing a weather that is unprecedented. I just saw on CNN this afternoon, southwest of France almost on fire. Britain is burning. Everybody is almost suffering. The point I'm making here is that if we don't set up and resolve our economic and social problem and think that IMF or somebody is going to deal with the problem for us, that wouldn't happen. You know, we have a saying in Akan that, or rather that hunger, you know, to me, the most painful condition that anybody can have. You have clothes which are worn out, which are torn, but when your children are hungry, you resort to anything to survive. And we can't say that these things happening to the world and us wouldn't have effect on us. They would. But like I said, as if we are not even aware of what is happening to us. Today, if you look at the cost of food in Ghana today, I was in Winnipeg about a week ago, looking for a common thing like kenke and gari. It was difficult to find. You wouldn't believe. The army have a rest house or a guest house in Winnipeg, beautiful place. They didn't have any food there. Ordinary food, not imported rich food, but gari or beans, whatever. There was nothing there. And that is a very serious situation. The point I'm making is that these situations we are facing are going to have an effect on us. The worst one, if we don't take care, is what happened to Sri Lanka. I was in Sri Lanka some 47 years ago. Briefly, I was actually in India. Lovely country. But they're very much like us, mostly educated. But they wouldn't go near, manual work. Ghanaians don't want to work. Everybody wants to drive a Land Cruiser. Nobody wants to have a farm and produce food for us to eat. So we should observe what is going on and take serious action. Otherwise, we might, have serious situations on our hand. We are now in August. We're supposed to, in the past, supposed to be the month of plenty. In the French, we say zifu, fish everywhere. We know by this time, herrings fall for a pesewa, a penny. And maize, new maize, and so on will be appearing. But if you look at the condition today in Ghana, in August, if you don't take care and do something about this situation, come early next year, come January, come February, come March, there will be serious problem for us. which might lead to riots and even, total breakdown of law and all that. That's what I see ahead of us.
Why you come to these conclusions that you are putting out there, but let me bring into this conversation a man who until recently was in the Defense Ministry as a Deputy Minister. He previously equally chaired the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament. And in that capacity, he was the Member of Parliament with the governing party of 4 Nkranza North. Major Derek Ojo retired. You're welcome to our front.
Thank you very much, my good brother.
Now, I just heard Major General Nunu Mensah say that we need to take steps to ameliorate the current situation, or we might be heading for trouble. He specifically mentioned riots. We have not seen that happen in the country for God knows how long. Is it also from your security lens a possibility, mindful of where we are today?
Thank you, my brother. Yes, it is true that when there's problem, or when there are problems in the country, or anywhere, society, any group of people, and it is not handled properly, there's bound to be chaos. There's bound to be problems. So it is true that he even mentioned of other problems which are not from our country here. The COVID-19 pandemic, the Ukraine war, which is not allowing flour to flow from Ukraine to our part of the world here, the problem in France, and so many other ones, which may have implications in our country, even though they are far away from here. And if some people are facing this problem and these are imported into your country and you don't stand firm, it can create problems for you. So I agree with him when he says that.
Now, let me come back to you because when these things happen, and it didn't start today. I mean, there were snippets of it far back at 2019 as the World Bank has indicated in our economy. But we seem to have been in a very terrible situation now with inflation, with the exchange rate, and also with the general economic situation. What security signals are mostly sent to the leadership of the country about what should be done? Is there a meeting that national security get to consider some of these issues? Do they immediately ask that the hotspots are dealt with so that there is no implosion?
Yeah, thank you very much. These questions could have been directed to the National Security Minister. But being as it is, let me handle it this way. What is security in the first place? It's a state of being safe or free from danger or threat. Okay. If you like, free from even injury. Anything, freedom from worry or anxiety. Anxiety is future fear. See? So if you want to restrict it to the actual meaning of security, then you can say protection of a person, building, or any organization or country, if you like, against any threat, crime, or even foreign attacks. Now, good economic situation would mean that you have adequate revenue from the government to implement most of its projects, to embark on any project that it has planned to do, provide employment, and that is what we call job security. We have enough food available. That is food security. When these are not there, when we don't have good health, that is health security, there are bound to be problems in the country. We have financial inadequacies. There are bound to be problems because government will not have funds to embark on any other project to provide job for the people. So once we are here and all these things are happening, then we can say that it is a state of the mind. What are we thinking of? Where do we derive the problems from? Are they homemade problems or they are from outside? So if your level of intelligence is so sharp or so good that, we know we have problems. The problems do not come from us here, and therefore we need to assist, not to sit down for, say, government to solve the problem. The problem must be solved by us. Government takes revenue from the people, taxes. Government borrows from outside. Now we say our debt outside is so huge. Now we have to contribute so that the country will be successful and embark on certain projects so that the country will be free from economic hardship. So if that is not done, and we think that we have to wait, just like what we have in Ghana here, security should be done by only the security agencies. No, everybody is part of the security provision. So that if we sit on the fence and say, government should solve the problem, there's problem and it's left with government to go alone and solve it. When we know that we are part of the problem solution, then we are doing ourselves disservice. I agree with him that there are problems. The problems are not from here. They are from over somewhere. He mentioned all the problems just now. So we need to sit down and see what part can we play as citizens, good citizens of this country. What part can we play so that these problems could be solved? Otherwise, we will lament and we say that can bring problems, that can bring insecurity. People will revolt against the government. They have to know that this is the problem on hand, and therefore we all have to be on the seat and solve them.
Now, I'll be coming to ask you about what, of course, you're still not on the Parliamentary Committee for Defense and Interior, but I'll be coming to ask you about when these things happen, what happens there. But let me go back to General Nunu Mensah. Now, General, the question that comes up quickly is that will the extent of, let's say, anger, reaction from the people be based primarily on what is causing the current difficulties? So if we all agree that a chunk of our problems are external to us, the Ukraine-Russia war, and also, as government has stated, the recent COVID-19 pandemic, pushing us in a very tight corner. If we insist these are the main causes, are we still able to get the people to appreciate that they can actually not blame government and be angry, or maybe the situation will not implode merely because they know that government has done very little or contributed in very small ways to the problem?
The problem that we have, I've told you, most of them come from outside our border. But there are many that we can also do ourselves to mitigate the effect on us. Looking at Ghana from where I sit in cantonment, I was saying I believe on a program not long ago, that you will find more Land Cruisers in Accra than you will find in Tokyo. In other words, we waste. I'm surprised that if you come to Accra, drove here and saw the posh car that we drive, you might be surprised to hear that Ghana's inflation is running at so many, and food is so scarce and so much. But if we can manage our house in order properly, we should be able to mitigate and bring the situation under control. If you watch very carefully, I've been around for quite some time. 85 years, it's not a short period. And I'm seeing things that I haven't seen for years. Somebody brought me plantains from Takoradi area there. They were so tiny, and obviously the drought had dried out the plantain, the whole collapsed. So mark it on the wall, come here by early next year, we might not even, maybe that's even too long, have no plantain in our system. We should be observant and take notice about these developments and find a way to tackle them. Some 50 years ago, Achapo came to power, built so many dams. Dawanye Dam, Tono Dam, Ochisako Dam, Via Dam. All the dams are there with water in them. If you go to Dawanye Dam, you see Chinese growing rice. Dutch going flowers. Ghanaians are on the road talking about trotro. If we don't manage the economy properly, we're going to put our stomach in the kitchen of the Ukrainians and Russians and whatnot. We are going to have a problem on our hand. I said a moment ago, I was in Ceylon. I was in India, spending a week in Sri Lanka. And a beautiful country like Ghana. But the same problem that we have, they have over there. And what happened to them? They chased the president out of the country. When the anger rises, you see, human beings are more dangerous than even animals. In 1994, we had the Rwandan crisis, the Tutsis and the Hutus. And what happened was horrible. Don't say after Ghana, we are a peaceful people. An angry man is an angry man. He behaves like an animal. So I'm saying this issue is not getting out of the reach of the current government, the president. We need to assemble people to sit down and look at Ghana, as from holistic position, not from MPP or NDC angle. Because the way I see it, food is going to cause a major crisis. Go to IMF to give a loan to go out. You won't find the food to buy. You won't even find it to buy. So a time has come for us as a people to sit and put politics aside.
But
look
General,
at because
yes, I was trying to interrupt you for a second.
Just running, sky high. In Britain, part of France is on fire. Part of America is on fire. Other part is drowning. So if you think Americans are going to come here and help us, it's wishful thinking. They won't. They put their own problems. So let Ghanaians, the president, mobilize Ghanaians, put party issues aside, and see how best we can tackle this situation. About a year ago, let me say this. When you were growing up, you see things ordinary minds don't see. We saw this in coming. And a General Ashelas and I tried to see the president and say precisely what I'm saying to you today, about almost a year ago. We didn't have the chance to do it. We didn't go in there to look for loans or anything. We went there because as 85 and 89-year-old people, former chiefs of defense staff, we knew hell was going to break loose. We wanted to elect the presidency. We didn't have a chance. So let's put politics aside. Because what is happening is dangerous. Babies are being born. I don't know how you're going to feed. I saw a woman selling water with a baby dangling behind her. And I said to myself, if my mother dangled me like this in Winneba at the beach, will I become chief of defense staff? No. Many Ghanaians today, if you see many young men, they're going berserk, going mental. I saw a woman, middle-aged woman, almost, she took her clothes off, naked. These are serious issues. An American embassy, I drive there almost every day. A young man, naked from head to toe. This is on Ghanaians. It never happens here. So something is going wrong. We have to sit up and wake up.
Except, Jenanu Mensah, this is not the first time we've had difficulties with our economy, to be fair. This is not the first time we've had exchange rate problems. This is not the first time inflation has been quite high. This is almost like a 90-year-old problem. As in, the last time we had this kind of inflation was some 90 years ago. Somewhere in the 80s, we had serious problems with yields and the hunger and the crisis came in. Do you, and you have compared your lifetime in the country, think this is not comparable to any of the situations we've had in times past? The question I believe I'm asking is that, is this so extraordinary that in your entire life you've not seen us get to this level of economic decline? Yes, you know.
What is happening is unprecedented. I've never seen anything like this, anything close to this. Let me tell you a secret of mine. Where I'm talking to you from, my bedroom is close to where I'm talking to you from. This is not a lie. It's truth. It's a truth. On the 7th of December last year, the day we voted, I don't dream unnecessarily. I don't overeat and dream because I've overeaten. About dead in the night, deep asleep, I had a dream. The plane was taken off from the airport, not far from my house. The plane it passes almost on my roof. And then, in my dream, I saw the pilot struggling with the aircraft to keep it afloat. The aircraft was coming down. The pilot was struggling with the aircraft. And in my dream, I said prayers to God to protect the inmates of this, those who were in the plane. As I was saying my prayers, in my sleep, deep sleep, I had a big explosion and a huge, huge, huge fireball. And I was praying for those on board, for God to protect them. In my deeper sleep. I don't dream by heart. The same night, I didn't wake up. I had another dream. I was in Tama Harbor, fishing harbor. And a boat came to berth. It began to capsize. I was in coat, just like I'm dressed today. And on your shoes, I just jumped into the port. As a fisherman's son, I was fishing before I went to school. And I was saving lives. I was saving lives, just saving lives. In the end, I got up. I couldn't find anybody. I asked myself, what is the meaning of this dream? Of violence, of death, of chaos. It's not ordinary. On 19th of February 1966, I was a captain then. Government took off to go to Hanoi through Peking. 2 days on, I had a terrible dream that the plane had crashed. There were no survivors. We didn't have mobile phones, so I switched on my phone, my radio, to BBC, whether anything of that sort had happened. No news of that sort. Thank God. 2 days on, coup d'etat, Nkrumah never came to Ghana alive. So please, don't let us think that this old man is getting out of his mind. He is not. What is happening is, it's never happened like this. You mentioned all these crises. This one is extraordinary. The whole world is on fire. Britain is burning. France is burning. California is burning. Everybody is burning. If you're going to wait for Americans to come and give us food to eat, that's a wishful thinking. It will never happen. So we should wake up. If you are sick, we should wake up and stop wasting money on stupid cars, big cars, and nothing. And mobilize the army. The army, they are being paid for doing that at the moment. There's no war. Let's use the water bodies we have to grow whatever food you can grow, because what is coming is worse than hell.
Point though to all of these things, you seem to suggest that we are so much in an unprecedented situation. But even in our current situation, the Agric Minister is convinced we still have plentiful of food, and a food crisis is not happening anytime soon. Of course, there's an admission that the prices are galloping, but that really cannot be the substitute for there is really food crisis and there's food insecurity on the horizon. Exactly what do you know that the Agric Minister is unaware of? Jedanu Numesa.
It's not something I've read or I've heard from him, something I have seen and from experience. I used to have a farm at Hachu. When Liman fired me in 1979 as Chief of Defense Staff, I went to farm. I'm a fisherman and a farmer as well. And I built 6, 7 school blocks. I built O'Reilly. I built Winnipeg Secondary School, Yenu Mensa House. I built a school in Mori, in the Ruampong. And all that I've done. So I'm talking from experience. I was just telling your crew who are with me right now, this house I'm talking to you from, it cost me 50 pesos. That's where the Chief of Defense of Ghana Forces, stayed. 5,000 OCDs. Now, the cost of things are going beyond the reach of ordinary people. Beyond the reach. Human beings are losing their heads. It's going on. I can see it. The Agric Minister needs to come and tell me that what I see is wishful thinking. It is. It's the truth. So I'm saying that if we don't wake up, mark it on the wall, if we don't wake up and do something about our situation. Today when I see a woman pregnant, I feel sorry for the baby yet unborn. I said, what kind of world are you coming into? What kind of Ghana are you coming into? Ghana like this? My father was a fisherman. My mother was selling plantain, yet I rose to become Chief of Defense Staff. Nobody ever paid my school fees in school. When it was a port, I was carrying cocoa in my underpants to save the money, go to school and become Chief of Defense Staff. Today it's impossible. You can't. Because we should invest more in the youth. Don't waste our money buying stupid, expensive cars. It doesn't make sense. I have a car here, which I bought in 1976, 46 years ago. I still drive it. Why waste money when young people can't get jobs? Let's invest. Let's create wealth. You see, it's not you just saying that we are going to build factories and
To
so
be
on.
fair.
There's nothing there. They are not there. And don't think we are fooling them. One, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of them all the time.
Now, General, there is free education now. So I'm not sure those who are trying to go to senior high school, for example, will go through the same difficulties that you find yourself. The situation is way more improved as we speak today. Even with our current difficulties, that's not one of the headaches that the people are having. I'm sure you agree.
Repeat your question, please.
Yes, I was saying that you were talking about having to fend for yourself through school and do all the work. And I'm saying that there's an admission that we can all make that there is free education at the secondary school level now. So in all fairness, you do not have to go through the same toil and difficulties to get that kind of education as we speak today. That is some level of improvement that I am convinced we cannot admit and be convinced of.
You're talking about free education. Today, I can talk about Pythagoras theorem after an 85-year woman. You ask them what they can remember, anything of that sort. What they remember, simple geometric, equations and so on. The quality of education is important. I'm involved in education. As I said, I built a school block, Jinanunu Mensa House. If you go to Winneba, it is there. I built it. Orally, I live O'Leary from behind the cathedral to I understand education very well. The quality is rubbish. Not my time. Not my time. But you don't have to go to Infantipim to become chief of defense staff. If the quality is good and people are prepared to support you, you become somebody. So I'm saying that the crisis in which you might admit that, or you might say that we don't have crisis. I'm saying, if I compare my life today, the house I'm sitting in and talking to you, cantonments, a champion built a house, it cost me 2 cedis, 50 pesos, today's price in cantonments. I built additional, which I live in it as chief of defense, that cost me 50 pesos. Of course, helped by my friends, Kwame Center and others with few things here and there. But the cost of living today is out of reach of ordinary people. Other people are becoming rogues, they're becoming thieves, they're becoming, nobody, if you're an honest person today, you won't survive. No one is honest. So I'm saying that let's look inwards, look at this country, look at our youth, invest in their future, because numbers are increasing. Today we have maybe 35-something million people. And people are leaving school. I never went to a secondary school. I spent 3.5 years in school and went straight to the army to go to Sandhurst and top my class over there. You know, with a fisherman father and mother selling plantain in the market in Winneba Market. So I'm saying that you can just say we are building factories, but there's nothing there. On the ground, there's nothing there. Let's be serious and invest in the youth of this country. Otherwise, what happens in Sri Lanka, regrettably, might happen here.
Now, let me bring in Major Derek Ojo. Major Derek Ojo, I mean, this question I keep asking because at some point we should make some comparison and understand it properly. Nobody can say the current situation is rosy. But to your mind, is it as unprecedented as General Nunu Mensah is making it seem? Yes, Major Derek Ojo.
Hello.
Yes, sir. So I was asking you about whether or not you think the current economic situation is unprecedented, comparable to, let's say, the hunger crisis within the 80s or the negative growths we've had in times past. Is it really that bad? That's the question I'm asking. To General Nunu Mensah, it's never happened to before because he's lived in this country for quite too long.
Okay. There's nothing unprecedented about this situation. We are all in this country. At least we are grown. We have had the occasion to observe the period when PNDC was in power. When AFRC was also in power, a situation where essential goods were so scarce in the market, you couldn't get anything. People were moving from here to Togo to go and buy even common soap, sugar, to use themselves. We have had a situation even currently, before the new government, before a new administration came in, President Mohammed's situation also went so bad. There were doomsday, no jobs. Food prices were so high, and people were fed up. So this situation is not, we don't have to regard it as unprecedented because we have food in abundance in the country. What if the prices have gone high in the urban areas, not in the villages? Because fuel prices are so high, people cannot bring food from the hinterland just at the low price. Otherwise, we have food in abundance. This is the first time we are seeing old yam paying for new yam to come and meet it. We have plantain in abundance. We don't know even how to do with them. We are frying some plantain. Now, we don't queue for fuel. So how unprecedented this situation is. We are all aware of the situation that, yes, the economy, the economy is very bad. Now, it's as a result of what all of us know. Government is taking steps to solve the problem. We have to make our own homegrown solution. Expenditure cut, steps to secure funds from outside to support the budget. Fuel prices are being managed. Now, it's going up and coming down. So government is doing all things possible to solve the problem. This does not call for any coup d'etat. What happened in those days when Nkrumah was overthrown is quite different from what is happening. Now people are up in their mind. People know. Now you cannot have even soldiers, cannot convince soldiers that they should go and stage coup because the situation in the country, economic situation, is not the best. No, you cannot convince them. They are highly educated, highly professional. Unlike before, where people, you can convince anybody, you can call them fools. You can call soldiers fools. Yes, they like it. Most of the soldiers have their PhD degrees. PhD. The least will be master's degree for officers and some of the other ranks in the armed forces. So you cannot call them fools. They know what they're about. Politics is not their area. What they know is that they have to provide adequate security for the government in power. And they have to assist the government to provide security for the whole nation. They have to help in the socio-economic development of the country. Armed forces, they are doing it. Police, they are doing it. Everybody, all hands on deck. So everybody knows what to do at what time. So when there are crises, everybody is supporting. So it's not like the old days. When you are hungry, you say a hungry man is an angry man, you take weapon and go overthrow the government. You damage so many things. You spoil so many things. Any violence takeover in this country will not help the nation. So everybody should disabuse their minds in that direction. It won't help anybody. All that we need to do that we have crises on our hands. We know where the crises come from, and we must solve them. Government has taken steps. It's providing an enabling environment for all these problems to be solved. And therefore, we must all support the government. Nobody should sit on the fence. We must all be part of the solution. If we sit on the fence, we all go into the drain. So now, that is the situation.
I get you.
It is not unprecedented. The situation is so good for us comparing this to other countries. Nigeria, they were queuing for fuel. We haven't had any queue in Ghana for fuel.
But inflation is higher than that of Nigeria.
You cannot buy some of the goods in abundance. So you have to, the situation we have in Ghana, if you compare to other countries, we are better off. So it's not unprecedented. All that we are interested in is that government is solving the problem. Government is asking everybody. We must understand the situation. That is the biggest problem we have in Ghana here. People don't understand the situation. Those who understand, those who are level-headed people who are supposed to understand are refusing to understand. And they are saying that the imported problems, as the general is saying, it's not there. How can we think that way? How can we progress? Let's accept that we have problems. The problems are not our own problems. Let's take steps, what we can do in our own country here to ameliorate these problems and then allow the government to bring in whatever resources that they can mobilize to help solve the problem.
You have repeated for the fifth time that we should play our roles. What exactly do you expect the ordinary person who is currently reeling under the very current economic situation with inflation at 31.7%, with the exchange rate being this problematic, and with all the compounding factors we are currently seeing? What can the ordinary man do to help?
Yes. First and foremost, we must understand the problem. If you have a problem, you don't understand the problem, you don't know the cause of the problem, then you yourself, you are a problem. Now, if you understand the problem and you refuse to understand the problem, then you are a problem itself. Now, look at how we have taste for foreign goods. Foreign goods. We are producing cutlass here. We are producing pampers here. We are producing toilet roll here, but we choose to import them from outside. Local industries are producing all these goods, but we produce cheap ones to come and compete with what we produce here. How can we survive? Are you not using foreign exchange to import them? And the demand for foreign exchange is so high because we want dollars, we want euros, we want pound sterling to go and order from outside. And therefore, demand is so high, and so many people looking for dollar would send the dollar rate so high. If we try as much as possible to eat what we grow here, to help the government to come up with the one district, one factory policy that government has brought, it will help us. Don't kick against it. It's a good policy. Now food is in abundance. Grow and eat. So that is the way we can solve the problem here. It's not ordinary person. Ordinary person, eat what you can. Don't go and eat cornflakes. Eat porridge. Eat homegrown, with the Ghana-grown rice and not perfumed rice from outside. Don't go and import. Look for money to go and import from outside, and then we will be suffering here. The dollar rate will go so high. It's not only those goods that we need. We need essential ones that cannot be produced in Ghana here. These are the ones that we're supposed to import. So if we go that way, we will be helping to revive the economy. But if we don't, we seal our ears, and we are politically minded, and we think that we have to bring the government down, and by pushing it forward, that we are all suffering, and the fault of the government. The fault of the government. Government must take money from you and everybody to drive revenue to develop this country. So let's stop importing goods that can be produced here and will be, in a way, solving the problem. So there are so many ways.
It does appear that...
If we think that the problems are still there, and it's the one person who's supposed to solve the problem, we will not go anywhere, my brother.
But in fairness, somebody collects taxes. The person is in charge of actually providing public good and some of these services. Are you, to all intents and purposes, saying that people have been contributing to the current state we find ourselves, so they are equally to blame for what's happening?
No. What question are you asking? I don't understand your question, so come again.
Sorry, the question I was asking is that you seem to suggest that if we do not change our taste buds or what we consume, our taste for foreign goods, we cannot fix this problem. But this is not the first time, in all fairness, that we started tasting foreign goods. But the inflation is currently at a 19-year-old high. That is where many people are worried about. What can we do practically to fix this?
You see, the taste for foreign goods is one of the problems. It's not the whole problem. Now, we talk about corruption, and we think that it's only politicians, those in the government, who are corrupt. The civil service is corrupt. You know, I know, everybody knows. Corruption is not by only politicians. We must all accept it. That's why I'm saying that if we don't accept the situation, we cannot solve the problem. Whatever you do, you want to procure outside, you must pay something. You must put weight everywhere. So if we stop that corruption, which is endemic everywhere, I think, my brother, we will have a way of solving the problem. That is an ordinary person, that not a member of government, not a minister, not a member of parliament, but we, the ordinary citizens in this country. Everybody wants to get money. Everybody wants to get rich quick. And therefore, you see on television, you see on our roads, armed robbery everywhere. What you have not sown, you are reaping. These are all ways that would go a way to endanger the economy. But you think that it's only one group of people or set of people who are supposed to be blamed for corruption in the country. No, it is wrong. So there are so many ways that we would employ to revive the economy, stop corruption, stop foreign goods that we import. There are people who are here, if they get it, they will buy. If they don't get it, they will utilize what we have in the country. But because people want to force, that is their area of specialization, importing from outside, whatever possible they will do to get the foreign exchange, even though at high cost, they will do, and then the country will be suffering. So everybody must put his shoulder to the wheel. It's not only one person. And you must know, duties and responsibilities in this country, we are aware. Everybody has a stake in developing this country. Stop inciting people. We don't have this thing on our hands, but people would just be on in the media every day, economic situation. There are some media households who are not saying the positive aspect of the government, only negative. Every day, armed robbery. Every day, economic hardship. Every day, strike. Every day, this. No, nothing positive. But if you go outside, you see that the government is trying as much as possible, building roads, hospitals.
Now, I get you.
Moving upon the poverty levels in our hinterland.
I should come back to you.
They are not known, and people are not talking about that one. All these things contribute to our woes and our hardship.
Brilliant. But I'll come back to you, except that I need to bring General Nunu Mensah into this conversation. General, from where you sit, the major former Deputy Defense Minister says everybody has a role to play. From where you sit, government's going for an IMF program. Is that a solution? What can people do differently? What is government? What am I, the rest of us in this country? What do you expect that we can do differently so that we can all get out of the current difficulties we find ourselves? General. Yes, General Nunu Mensah.
We are lacking in Ghana today is leadership. Leadership and leadership. Leadership at the highest political level. Leadership at every level. Because without having direction, which we are going. I mean, when Nkrumah had two development plans, 5-year plan and 7-year plan. That was the plan that told us where we are going, how we are going to get there. If there's no direction, then the people are wandering like sheep without a shepherd to shepherd them. So that's what I find lacking in Ghana today. You know, we don't have leadership to tell us exactly how we're going to get out of this crisis. There's a crisis. There's no doubt about that. You know, if I go to Winneba, a former chief of defense staff, and can't get Kinke to buy an armed forces rest house to eat. I'm not looking for smoked salmon or lobster to eat. Common food like Kinke. I will take my own beans and gari to eat, and I'm not lying. I can swear by the Bible, by the Quran, what I'm saying is true. People are hungry. And so if we don't want to admit that we're hungry, we'll never find a way out of this crisis. The point I'm making is that we should stop sheepishly following international monetary institutions as if they are panacea for our problems. No. We want leadership. Look, simple things like growing. I would do some, where I live is all rocks. It was like a quarry site. I bought soil to plant beans and cucumbers and others. In my house here, I'm planting plantain. we saw our day, we should make an effort to grow Ghana out of this chaos. But we can't go around with the pulling others in the IMF and World Bank and the United States. And they have got their own problems. France is burning. America, California is burning. Kentucky is being inundated by rivers. So don't follow them. And we have enough. There are enough people in this country, if they are properly led, we can get out of this chaos. That's what I'm making. We can't sit down there and go and take loans. When you take the loans, we don't even apply the loan in an area that will generate wealth to pay the loan and interest. You know, we are doing things that are not benefiting the country. And what my biggest problem is, it's not me. I did survive. My days are numbered. But not even my children, but my grandchildren. They're all walking around like sheep without direction. Yet we are hungry. Can't we grow cassava and get bread out of cassava? It can be done. I've eaten cassava bread. But we are looking for wheat from Ukraine. And with the war going on, we are going to die. So I'm saying that, look, I'm not stupid. They are not stupid. Ghanaians are not stupid. Ghanaians are very clever. Royal Acquah knocked down Ronnie Clayton in 1951 to win featherweight boxing championship. Asma Nelson, DK Poison, Ahe. All these have shown that Ghanaians are not stupid. They are intelligent. We just simply need leadership to come on, follow me, and let's build Ghana. And put politics aside. If you don't do that, I can swear that, and you go on like this, if in August we are hungry, come January you will see real people dying on the street, mark it on the wall. So we should wake up and let our president and the ministers show leadership. If we are talking about buying Ghanaian goods, why don't you buy Adjoa's Safo's father's cars, Kantanka, to the police, and beef up Ghanaian production of cars? The former minister was saying, we don't support Ghanaian enterprise. But show by example. All the cars, I have about 3-4 cars here. The newest is 22 years old. I will never buy a new car. Yet I built about 6-7 school blocks. I build them, wake up 3 o'clock, go to O'Reilly and dig and push wheelbarrow to demonstrate to the youth that Ghana can only be built by Ghanaians, not by the Chinese, by the Indians, by IMF, by World Bank, by ourselves. And President and the minister should show leadership. And we shall build Ghana to what it should be.
We sure would need some change of mind to work around this. And you said leadership is the biggest problem here. If you are speaking to the president directly, what will you tell the president about how to turn around things, about the implications of our current situation, and the effective things to do immediately from now to next year, as you talk about, to fix the problem? General Nunu Mensah. Yes, General.
A year ago, I just said, baby, you didn't hear me well. Look, when we are growing up, this, as you see, is amazing. And with my senior colleague, 89-year-old man, we wanted to see the president. We saw this coming. We met at the Air Force Officers' Mess and planned to see him. I saw Kwame him. You can ask him, Kwame, I want to see the president. He called a certain number, Ochedaku. They were in New York, General Assembly. See the president. I wouldn't talk to the president on your medium. I want to talk to him into his ears. President Mills was a loving president. He could be General Brat. Now, what's the Kuraba? He could be Wayankokun. Our young advisor, when you feature so of quality, what should I do? That's what he told me. But the president, Namaka Sancho, that's where the Ufiasem came from. Maybe they wouldn't call people like me. It was my old friend. I campaigned with 98 when he was seeking political leadership of the MPP. But if today, when we are in a crisis, come on, call those that can help. Sit down, Jenna, sit down. What should you do? The country is sinking. We are on board the boat. The boat that sank in Tama. We are sinking. I dream about that. If the president won't call me, I wouldn't talk to the president on your medium. I wouldn't talk to him to his ears at the Flagstaff House. Now, Jubilee House. That's another problem. And we are talking about things that don't matter. Nkrumah came to meet Flagstaff House, where the Army General Pelly lived. He loved it. He built them a new place at Roman Ridge, Kalkudi Junction. MPP comes, they change the name. Obama comes, you change White House to Brown House. It doesn't happen. History must be maintained. Let's do important things that will help this country. And these things are not important. Because when I see young people, I came from a very poor background. And when I see poverty, I feel it in my body. I don't want to see poverty. Ghana should now not be where we are. If Rwanda is where they are, Why shouldn't Ghana get to beyond where Rwanda is? So let's president and the ministers who are in charge of our country mobilize and lead us and tell us where we are going, and they follow me. The military, at some point in time, military grew food. I had a big farm. Hey, there's no war. Every military barrack should have somewhere, either potty for something. We are hungry. We are not hungry for war. We are hungry for food. So I'm saying, let's tell us where we are going. Tell Ghanaians, follow me, and the president, the ministers, and whatnot, take us where we are going.
Do we need a reshuffle? From what you say, General Nunu Mensah, do we need to change ministers? Do we need to change people, DCs, and some people in leadership? Do we need a reshuffle? Yeah, General Nunu Mensah.
The foreign minister mentioned the soldiers getting PhD degrees. Was in charge, didn't go to university. General Slim, Montgomery didn't go to university, but they were quality leaders. It's not the degree you have that matters. It's what you do with the degree at the whole level. And I wouldn't go to science and tell I feared anybody. I went to the army here in Ghana with the infantry boys and St. Augustine's and private college outside. We never secondary school was a stupid school that time. Nobody ever passed the exam. I was the first to get grade 1, and I went to science and show that degrees don't mean anything. What you do with knowledge you have. So reshuffle, get quality people, not based on degrees. People who are going to work. When President Mahama didn't have time to things for me, national security, what do you call it, human security coordinator. I built schools. I built 7 schools. These are things that you demonstrate to people the quality of leadership. The leaders don't come to make money, buy land cruisers. If you go anywhere in Ghana here, I was going to build a school in the Porter region when I was moved from my position. But before that, I built 7 school blocks. My names are there. I didn't go to Infantry. I didn't go to any high-level school in Ghana here. I went to ordinary school. I didn't come from a lawyer father or a mother professor. To my mother fisherwoman, and father fisherman. Yet, I've shown myself. Today, if I go tomorrow, they be record. You go to Sandhurst, my name is there. The top officer cadet who topped his class in 1963. His father wasn't a graduate, wasn't a professor, wasn't a lawyer of distinction, was a simple fisherman. Okay? So I'm saying, you need a reshuffle. Pick those who are going to work, who are prepared to work, and use them to this country. Ghana is look, you can't have everything America has and be poor. I can't understand. I can't. My son went to school at Burma Camp here. They didn't go to any of these posh schools.
Okay.
I was paying 20 cedis a term for my 3 children. 20 cedis. Today is 1/5 of 1 peso.
I'm
for
grateful
Christ's
to
sake,
you.
Let not put value on quality. Let people who are going to work. At my age, at 85, only my body is getting tired, but I can still get up.
I'm grateful to you, General Nunu Mensah. And ladies and gentlemen, that's where we end today's edition of UPfront. Many thanks to you for joining us on this day. Many thanks to you to Major Derek Oduro, retired former Deputy Defense Minister and former Chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament. Join this program is up next.